G'day everyone. In this tutorial, we'll be talking about cool lists, which is scrolling between things and past other stuff. Now, what makes a list cool? Well, first on the left here, we've got normal lists with a little bit of theming. Now, I just pinched this off of Reddit, no hate, but it is just a normal list with a little bit of theming. Now, cool lists, on the other hand, we could be talking about stuff like this. This is my game DJ Simulator, by the way. You can wishlist it on Steam. This is another cool list here. Look, we've got a list where we've got stuff, and so we can scroll past things and then other stuff. Look, so we've got another list here where we've got a what do you call it? A rank, their name, the fans, and the fame, right? And then we've got other lists like this, right? So we've got other lists, like, so here's a regular list here. That's just a normal regular list. But then we've got other lists like this, and these ones are kind of cool too. You see what I'm saying? So hopefully we understand the difference between just a regular list and a cool list now. Alright, here's a great example too. Look how cool this list is. So we've got like a background. We've got like a background on them. We've got, like an amount. You've got like the numbers, all that sort of stuff. Very cool. And so over here we've got another very cool list. So it's not your average sort of list. Look at this guy, DJ Nonstop D, Hydra Rider, Hardcore Blizzard. Very swag. I'm gonna hit a vape to that one. Chugga Broski too. So in Godot, I've just created a new project, and then I've created a control. I haven't even saved it yet, right? And I put an item list in there. So we've got A, B, C, and the way that I've added that is through the items over here. So you can do that through code too, the add items. We'll just get another couple in there. And so we sort of need to understand the difference between just doing something like this and then the workflow that we're going to use to create a cool list that'll actually have meaningful data in it, right? So generally speaking, what you want to do is you want to be creating a VBox container first, and you've got to think of this as your part of your list, right? So anything that you add in there, let's say a color rect, anything that you add in there is going to more or less turn into a list when you create a lot of things as a child of this VBox container. So in saying that, any one of these elements we could create as its own scene, and then when we instantiate it into the VBox container, we can give it its properties then. So first we'd need to create a data structure actually to host this data. But we'll keep it simple. So we'll have like a color, a title, a number, and then maybe some other bit of data. So I'm just going to delete all of these, and then I'm going to replace that with a control. So this one we'll call our cool list scene. Yep, and then so we save that. I'm not going to create the folders this time. And this we could call our list item scene. Now this, we want to, well, first of all, we'll create a basic size for it. How big do we want this list to be? So we'll go out to maybe 400. And actually, is there a way that we could just do this? Yeah, this button here. So we just click that button so it goes top to bottom on the left side. So it's 400x, and we just need to know that for this. So what was it in Y? So 648. Now if we have over 110-ish, we could only fit 6 on the screen. So it's actually going to be less than that too, because you've got to count the gap in the middle. So over here we're going to go 110. And we're going to make this 400. Now when we start to stack these up, you'll see them go off the screen. Now this is where we need to think about a scroll area, right? And luckily, Godot's got a node for that. But where are we going to add it here, right? So on the VBox container, we'll reparent to a new node, scroll container. And now inside that area is a scroll area. So we're going to go to the scroll container, and then we're going to make this one take up, well, this part of the screen, right? We're going to add this custom width of 400. And then inside the VBox container, we're just going to, oh, here we go. So we're going to get rid of those dimensions. And then we're just going to expand top and bottom. And then everything in here should, if we're playing nice, it should be stacking up. So I'm just going to test this scene real quick by putting a bunch of labels inside these objects just to see that we've actually got the structure right before we go and actually commit to any of this, right? So when it's ready, we're going to hit play, select current. Let's have a look. Okay, cool. So we've got a scroll container. We've got the hellos in there, which we can now get rid of. So I'm just going to hold control. Get rid of all of these. I'm going to quit Discord just so if there's a sound, but it's not actually yours, it might be mine. But now you know that it's yours. So on this list item scene, I'm going to save this branch as a scene. And when it comes up, a list item scene, cool. So then we're going to go open that. And now we've got the dimensions already baked into the object. So that's the benefit of doing it there, just getting everything set up one time so you know the basic idea. So if you come back here and you for instance change the size of the scroll container, it's okay. This isn't going to update, but with the way that we're going to create this this item, it's going to stretch with it. So it will stretch, and then we'll have the elements move around based on where their anchors are, right? So did I undo that? Yeah, I undid that. Cool. I'm pretty sure 400. We'll just double check. Transform. No, I didn't. 400. No, we're not on the 400 anymore, are we? We're just whatever this is. Okay, cool. We're back. Awesome. All right, now that we've got this, we actually need some data to put in there. But first, let's say I know that we want a background. So I'm going to chuck a color rect in there. We can have like a background color. We can have a label. And we're just going to stick that in the middle. Make sure that that's black as well. Hello, hello, hello. That's white. So I'm just going to create a little thing here for the label. Little label settings. And that is going to then be the same one for all of them, which is cool. So if we want to actually have maybe a couple different labels, we can go hbox container. We can chuck in more than one label. So we're going to go to this hbox container, select the full rect, and then if we go over here to the auto wrap mode, we can actually get it to wrap these. But what's 400 divided by 3? Yeah, 133. So we go 120 for each of these for their minimum size. What did I say? 100. Yeah, we'll go 100. And then for each of these, we can then go layout, container sizing, horizontal expand, and it's going to fill that whole area up. So let's say this is a number. This here is a title. And then what can we have here? Detail, maybe. Not sure, but let's say we wanted to actually have a little bit of a margin around that. We can go reparent to new node. We can go margin container. In this margin container, we can first of all the whole thing, and then we're going to go to the theme overrides and then add in the constants. So we might try 16 just to give us a little bit more of a buffing area. Now for all of these as well, Actually, for these two, I'm going to keep that one at the start, am I? Yeah, we're actually going to make this one a little bit smaller. So I'm going to turn off the expansion for that one. And then we're going to make this, let's say 50. Yeah, we'll keep it small. So for these two, yeah, we're either going to put it in the middle or not. I don't know, what looks better? Yeah, probably in the middle. Yeah, okay. Now, that's 4 bits of data. We've got the color, the number, let's say the rank label, the title label, and then we've got the detail label. Of course, the margin container, hbox container, yep, and then we've got the background rect. We'll just call it the color rect. Background color rect. Cool, so list item scene, we're going to create a new piece of code. I'm not going to create the folders this time, we're just going to stuff everything in the root directory. By the way, this is going to be on Patreon. If you can't be bothered typing all of this, I'll chuck it up for free. This one's a pretty simple one. Nothing too crazy going on in this tutorial. So I hold control when I grab all of these, I bring them in. These are the things that we're going to be editing. So obviously, we're going to need a few export variables. One of them is BG color. And that's going to be a color. Oh my god, my fingers are so cold. It's so cold here at the moment. Okay, what is it to... I can't remember the duplicate button right now. I don't know what's going on. BG color, and then we're going to, so it's rank, rank string. No, we'll keep rank as an integer actually, just to drive the point home. And then we'll go title, string, and then we'll go detail, string. Cool, and now that we've got those export variables in there, we're actually going to set those export variables before the ready function runs. So, boom, 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 and boom. Actually, we'll do it like this. Grab all of those. Equals. So we're going to go equals. Yeah, so now go color equals background color. Yep. Rank label, we've got to do them one by one. So text equals. So we'll go string rank. But before that, we're just going to put a little hash. And then the title label is just title. And detail is just detail. So just do that. Trying to type as little as I can. Let me try and heat my hands up. Jeez. Cool. Now that that's done, we actually have to go back to the cool list scene, and then we've got to create a piece of code for this as well. A piece of candy for that. And don't worry about this. This will go away. So first of all, this VBox container, we're going to call this cool list VBox, just to give it a name, because we will be referencing it a little bit. And create a script for the cool list scene. Now the cool list VBox we actually need to get a reference for. And then this list item scene, you don't bring it in like that, because we're actually going to delete this the second that this code runs. In fact, we'll write that right now. Change my mind, no we won't. So this list item scene, we want to bring it in like this. So hold control, bring it in like that. How come I've forgotten how to duplicate line in this program? My God, because I program in so many different languages, right? List item scene Cool. So on the func ready, what we want to do is gather data, right? So we don't know what that entails just yet, but we're gonna go var. We're gonna make it a dictionary, but it'll probably be a list. So it'll be a list of dictionaries. So we'll call it an array var data array just for now. Array equals gather data. So then we need to. I swear it's Control Alt down and it's just not working. What's going on? Oh my god. Okay, so it's Control Shift D. Or what you do is you hit Control C on the end of a line and then you can just paste it as a new line. I never knew that. Look, if you hit Control, look, you just Control C, Control V the line. Or Control Shift D. Alright, whatever. Now we're going to write this gather data and it's going to return array just so the program doesn't freak out. Although this is actually going to freak out right now. So return data array. Oh wait, this is, what am I doing? Okay, return data array. Okay, we're going to call this one new data array just so I don't get confused. Data array equals. Alright, now check this out. This is the best part about ChatGPT. Give me some test data. An array, bam, with a dict, with a dict with color, title, details, and rank. See, the problem is I'm not actually working on a project, so it's kind of hard to actually get test data, right? So boom, we just get the gather data, right? So this, let's see, color yellow, title urgent, details, handle this before end of day. Nice to do, but not necessary. Rank 6. Cool, we just got our data just then, right? And that's the beauty, I think, of LLMs in programming, is like you just get it to do the nasty stuff. Like I was actually going to type this out. Screw that. So once we get our new data array, we can go for item. Make sure item's not taken, I can't remember. I don't think so. For item in new data array, we have to list item scene dot instantiate. Here we go. var new list item equals. So list item scene. Now, just to make this run a little bit better, we're going to class name list item. I'm going to call it a cool list item, right? And then what we can do is we can say that this is going to be a cool list item. And now, from this, we're actually going to get the autofill, right? So background color reg, BG, detail, all that sort of stuff. We get the autofill because we do the class name. Now, I definitely recommend anything you're going to instantiate, always class name it. Always give it a name, right? So to actually set it, all we got to do is set these variables right here. And then when this is added to the list, it should just turn on. So ItemList dot, and now if we go back here, BG color, bang, rank title. Oh, not that one. Bam. Equals. Oh, come on. Equals. It's gonna be item dot. And now if we go back, let me take that. So it's item.bg color. No, it's just color. Okay. Title. Details. 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 Sure, whatever. Oh, screw it. Why are we doing what the LLM says? we're going to change all these to detail, 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 detail. Cool, there we go. So, now that all of these are set, let's have a think. We need to get the cool list item B box. So, before we do it here, we go for I in dot get children, and then we have to go I dot q3. So that gets rid of this, basically, which is our default crappy, what do you call it, template list right here. Cool. And now the last thing we have to do is just get that cool list VBox, add the child, which is this new list item, called the new cool list item. And then that should just work. Let's just run this. Bam, look at that. So we've got the different colors, and we need to make sure that it's a scroll zone too. So what we can do is probably just copy it and paste it in again, whatever. There we go. So we can scroll between it. And now we could use this same, God, I hate this embedded stuff. We could use this same workflow to get like an image in there, like a thumbnail, even like a video or something like that. You could load stuff from files, like any way that you gather data, and you return it in this way. So you could have like a parsing process, or like a, you know, like a, what do you call it? Yeah, basically your ETL stuff, right? And then you just display it like this. So let's say we actually needed the button to do something, right? So if we go back over into this view, we could actually create something on the other side. So I'm going to reparent this to a H box just so that we can split the screen up a little bit, right? So on the other side of that H box, also you're going to need to reassociate this, or like whatever you call that. Bam, get back over here. Now we're just going to do a big version of this over here on the right side of the screen, more or less. So I think we want to start with a margin container. We're going to extend that out to the end, and then we'll make our margin something like big, like 32. So we've got a bit of room to work with. Now let's go label. Stick it, actually we need to go VBox. So we split this up. And then we're going to go title. Yeah. And then maybe we can have our table label. We can have our rank somewhere up the top there. Rank label. So outside of that VBox. Underneath that we can have the detail label. So the detail. Awesome. Margin container, the title, and the bang. And now this I actually want to expand to the bottom. So this is what I want to be the really long thing. So there we go. We check our auto wrap. We make it smart. The custom minimum size here. Let's go. Let's make it about that big. Sure, whatever. Because this here we actually want to fill. Yeah. So we make this 100, and then it doesn't matter. That's just the minimum size, right? Detail, 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 detail. And then behind it, we actually want to have that, the color rect, right? So I think here we should have actually parented that to this. To that, to this, to that, to this. BG color rect. And then we'll make that full size. Awesome. And now all of the text on here needs to be changed. So we're going to do that with the same way that we did it before. We're just going to create a label settings, make it black. I just hope that it doesn't contrast that bad. Going to right click on it, copy it, paste it onto there, and then we're going to paste it onto here as well. So this rank, sure, we're going to make this a little bit bigger. Well, it's kind of crap that it's not yeah, 32 here, go 48, and now what happens if we title here? We need to what is it? Also set up our auto wrap, and then when we go to the fill mode, we can expand it horizontally, horizontal fill. No, we don't want to do that. We're actually going to create that minimum amount so it doesn't mess with that rank. I mean, really, we should have just done the same thing that we did here, but whatever. We're in too deep now for that. So when we click on one of these items, we actually want it to update over here. That's basically what we're going for, right? So over on the list item scene, we need to set this up. So the best way to do this is probably just to change this control over into a button, but it comes with a few caveats. So bam, create a button. Now we need to go in here. We don't need to change anything, but we probably should. We'll just change it to a button inside that code. And now let's have a look. So once it's a button, we actually need to turn off the mouse focus for this. So we're going to go ignore, and then on the margin container, also going to go mouse, pass, and we're going to ignore, because this entire thing, everything needs to be ignored except for the button itself, right? So now if we try that, you see it's acting like a button. You can see it's got the little focus around the outside of it, right? Cool. So now on button pressed, we need it to actually do something. So the coolest scene, right? Now we actually need to create that function, func button pressed. So button pressed, then we go button item, and this needs to be a, what do we call it? A coolest item. And then in there, we just want to print the button item just to make sure that we've got the connection right. Now over here, before we add it to the list, we need to new list item dot pressed. So we're going to connect our signal to that button pressed function. Dot connect. I'm going to go button pressed. Yeah, as a callable, and then we're going to bind new list item to that. And then we're going to close off that connection. Now, if all goes well, when we click this button, we should get a print, and we do. And it tells us the button. Perfect. Cool. And now that we've got that, we should very easily be able to update this based on what's inside that button, which is again just our list scene. So we've got our variables already ready to go. So over here, what we're going to do is we'll go collect all of these things here, because I don't think we've actually set a reference to them. Bang, 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 and the BG color rect. And then we're going to go UI elements. Big UI elements is what we're going to call that. So hold control and I pull them over. And then we're going to go to our button pressed, and underneath the print, just keep it there as debugging for now. So the button item dot actually equals, yeah, here we go. So dot color equals button item dot bg color. So we've got the autofill here. Like I said, it's good to have that. Equals, dot text, and that's going to be for all of these, right? Equals button item, and that's going to be for all of these as well. Button item dot title, button item dot detail, and button item dot rank, but remember we have to chuck string around that and actually get that little hash and then add that to it. So this should just work. We're gonna run that real time. Here we go. Look at that. Look at that. So as we click it, it updates the thingy on the right. Now, I mean, it's a really simple way to create like a kind of dashboard or whatever you want to call it. But I mean, let's get a little bit more info in there, right? Yeah, come on, you stupid AI. Come on, you stupid AI. Look at that, it's gone. Even more, look at this. Oh! We're gonna have so many. I want AI. You good boy. You good boy. Let's see if this even works. I think some of these colors aren't even real. I mean, indigo is. Oh, yeah, here we go. Oh, it's changed its name back to detail again. Oh my god. Okay, we'll just find a place. Alright, here we go. Yeah, there we go. Damn, like a lot of these colors that I actually found, they were just like names, right? Like slate gray, steel blue, khaki, azure. Which one's azure? Idle animations. Here we go. Alright, it's not even there. What number is it? Idle animations 36. Lovely. So, yeah, it didn't find it, obviously. It's just made it white. Well, there you go. So, I mean, super easy way to create, yeah, a dashboard of sorts. Obviously, a lot of this you can expand out. Look at that, just the black. What even is this one? Alright, perfect. Yeah, like I said, I'll put this up on Patreon. Links will be down in the description. Come and join the Discord. Make sure you subscribe, hit like, all of that good stuff. Yeah, let me know what I should do next. Cheers, boys. Well, see you next time. And also, check out DJ Simulator or check out Unaccessible if that's more up your alley. Support me directly, basically. Buy my games directly. Alright, good boys. See you next time.